Well, we're here 30 minutes later, ladies and gentlemen, but everything's squared away, and we're here live to discuss the NBA Finals in real time. With the Lakers up big right now, we'll see if they close it out. This is Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And join us as you shout tonight. We're going to try and get in here real quick and give y'all a good show. Mr. Locke, how you doing tonight, sir?
Pretty good now that we finally up. You know, we've been trying to work on it, technical difficulties, so hope you guys accept that from us. But I'm doing good, man. The Lakers trying to close it out after a tough game a couple of days ago. So I definitely see a different team tonight than I did a few days ago. Definitely see that they're definitely motivated to get the championship.
Yeah, and
secure and get outside the bubble.
I thought I lost you there. But yeah, they, like you said, D-Lock. And thank you for joining us tonight. I know we kind of got behind, but thank you for joining us here tonight. Tonight here on Game 6, live as is currently going on. The Lakers are up by 22 points, up 56-34 in the Miami Heat. It seems like, what transpired, D-Lock, on Game 5, they kind of want to wrap this up because they know how, this Miami team can be. So, what are your thoughts so far on this game so far, in real time?
Playoff Rondo is real.
Yeah.
Like, he's playing, very good. So, we're seeing, him kind of step up. Haven't really seen Jimmy Butler do too much. He'll get hot at some point. I think he's starting to cook a little, but he did start off kind of, slow. But LeBron being LeBron, he started out very hot. Almost got a double-double already with 11 points, rebounds. Also 5 assists, so he's headed to the triple-double. And AD is waking up. So things are kind of, everything is kind of going in the groove of what the Lakers want. They also started Alex Caruso, so I think they were getting smaller, playing smaller on defense. So they're playing pretty good right now. It's just that they got to keep this whole momentum going forward to when Jimmy Butler starts to cook and the rest of these guys start to get the groove of the game. Dragic is back now, so I'm pretty sure once he starts to get in the groove of the game, they're gonna make a run. The Lakers just got to be ready for it.
Well, you mentioned Jimmy Butler cooking. Well, the deficit they're down now, you think he can help elevate that team and bring them back in the second half?
Well, we've seen Jimmy Butler is, that player that no matter what the situation is, he's not going to, back down or change. So I definitely expect for him to kind of make that move to where he's actually pulling them back, but it's going to take more than him now. It's going to take Iggy to get on the defensive side, do his thing. It's going to take Bam. So, they're going to be running out of time. And also we're talking about who the Lakers have on the other side. So, but if, like I said, I really believe that if the Lakers keep finding what they do, it could possibly already be over. But, I don't necessarily say it's over until the clocks hit double zeros or triple zeros in this aspect right now. So, Danny Green is not shooting good right now still. I'm pretty sure people remember what he did a couple nights ago, but he's not catching fire just yet. But I'm pretty sure he's making an impact on the defensive side. But, you have AD still having a solid game. Rondo, like I said, is coming off the bench, being Rondo, playoff Rondo. So, the Heat have their hands full, and they just have to, got to battle back. Remember, like I said, even though this is one game, you mess around and win this game and find a way to get to Game 7. That's a totally different area that you're in. But is going to start now. Like, what are they down right now? 26, 27. So you got to make a move now. And you are dealing with AD and LeBron, who is one of the greatest players of all time on the mission.
Yeah, and the Lakers, they're up 61-34 right now currently. And it's just like, now they're up 30 points right now. 64-34 is just like, it's bananas right now. This is like,
well, they know what happened the last time they played.
Yeah.
You know, the game they wore the black jerseys that late great Kobe had something to do with creating. They were expected to win that game. The hype was expected to win, and for them to already decide who the MVP of the NBA Finals was going to be, and they come out and they lose that game. So it was close for so long. It came down to one drive, which, a lot of fans thought about, or I'm pretty sure stuck in the Lakers' head. So right now they're out, coming out firing, knowing that and feeling like they are the better team. And this is why they're up so much right now. So they want to close this out, and get this title. And obviously, one thing is these teams do want to get outside of the bubble, go back to their respective homes. So Lakers on the mission right now, man. This is expected. I'm pretty sure a lot of people were expecting to be Lakers in 5, as a lot of people were thinking. I believe when we talked, I did say it was going to be Lakers in 7, I believe. If I can remember back to a couple shows back. But right now, it looks like it's going to be Lakers in 6.
And I've been thinking about this all week, and I want to ask you this. If the Lakers hang on to this, since the game is not going to halftime, if they hang on to this lead and win their 17th championship, where do you rank this Lakers squad if they win the championship compared to the other Lakers squads since the turn of the century? How you compare this squad to the other ones that have won the 5 previous titles in this century?
Right now, I wouldn't rate them too high. I mean, you got the 2000 Lakers, and then you got the early 2000 Lakers, and you got the Lakers with Kobe and Paul. The difference between those two Laker combination title teams is that they were consistently competing for a championship, as a dynasty-wise. So I think this team is not there yet, because we have to, if you ask me this question in 2 or 3 years, I think they're a lot higher, depending on how many championships they win. LeBron's not going to be there as long as Kobe was, obviously, because LeBron is on the ending side of his career. But I do see that these same Lakers, this same exact team, adding maybe 1 or 2 more pieces, are going to contend for another title next year. So this could be a slight dynasty in the making, but I can't rank them above the Kobe and Shaq Lakers. That's definitely not going to happen right now. That team just dominated everything. And then obviously the Kobe and Paul Gasol era is probably below the Kobe and Shaq era. And then this is this team. So for me, this team is one of the better teams that we've seen. We just got to see them contend for consistent titles. And I think once we see the consistent title thing, that's where I think, okay, now I can kind of move them into maybe the second spot, or maybe even the top spot.
Yeah, it's hard to rank this team above the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, especially the playoff run the 2001 Lakers had when they sent this bum rushing through the whole Western Conference. And they weren't in the top seed that year. You bum rushing the Sacramento Kings. You bum rushing the San Antonio Spurs with Tim Duncan in his prime.
Yeah.
And then, you get to the finals and, AI having the game he had that game 1. After that, they just beat down the Sixers. But those 2001 Lakers, they were something else. That's like,
yeah. I mean, that team was, two basically NBA, NFL. I'm sorry, NFL, NBA MVPs, candidates on that team, and Shaq and Kobe. So it's hard to really move the needle on that team. They just were so dominant. And not only dominant, they were dominant for so long. I mean, right now these Lakers are dominant as we can see, but it's just the longevity of the dominance that the previous Lakers, these 2000 Lakers had. To me, they did have that trend where they had the Rick Fox and the Derek Fisher as well. So, you had all of these pieces. You had the bench. Robert Horry was there at one point. So you had a lot of pieces there. It's just, tough to say, okay, well, let me just move the 2020 Lakers above them, even if they have LeBron and AD. These other pieces, the KCP, the Rondo, Danny Green, I don't think that they kind of can compare to that roster that the 2000 Lakers had.
No, and I think, I think you probably may agree with this. What you have in LeBron AD, you can somewhat compare it to, Kobe Shaq to a degree. Now, granted, you can argue, those early 2000 Lakers had at least a third man you could depend on. Glenn Rice in that first title. I mean, you could really, granted, he's on come down the downside of his career, but at that time, he got you at least 17, 18 a game. And then, the couple other championships, the third guy, Rick Fox, Derek Fisher, maybe. It depends on the day. So, like you mentioned, if these guys can go on a run and assert some dominance, maybe, I don't say you won't eclipse them, but you could damn near, be in that argument like, okay, which Laker team, was it this team in this decade or this team, LeBron, AD in this decade?
Right. That's the conversation that you could have after seeing them dominate for a while. Now, I think it does make an impact, the fact that we did see LeBron have a season without AD, and it's like, okay, well, this is what the team was before. Like, now that they have AD, this is how they look. Like, that'll be something that a lot of people could say. But me personally, from what I remember as a child, those Lakers, 2000 Lakers, were just dominating every chance they got.
Yeah, they were dominating, and it's amazing, how good they were. But you always had you always had the Spurs in a way with Tim Duncan in the fold. There was always a thorn in that side. The Kings, wherever side of the fence you on that 2002, conference final series, maybe Sacramento should have got maybe went over that, win that series. Maybe the Lakers were that damn good. But, you go point to that, say that's an abstract to a degree. And Terry brought up a good point. D-Lock, Rick Fox, Derek Fisher, Robert Horry. Those guys brought great moments. With these current Lakers now, besides AD and LeBron, because you expect them guys to do what they're supposed to do. You mentioned playoff Rondo. Hey, awesome, great. But we talked before we got on the air. Danny Green, when push came to shove, if Robert Horry was open, he'll knock that bad boy down.
Yeah.
Man, that shot against Sacramento years ago, that's the thing of Butte. In one of those moments, you can play back in your mind and where you're at and watching during that time. and everybody rushing to Robert. I think like the sideline dude for the Lakers that cleans up the court, he's just like running full sprint to Robert Ory in celebration. But you kind of don't get these from these Lakers, and like, it's like, you know, if one of these role players have a bad game, like KCP early in the season, or Danny Green, you know, during this run, it's like they get trashed. Kuzma, they got petitions of him not. Hey, this man don't deserve his ring.
Right.
You know, it's just
those
like,
are the things that they're going to say is because this team is not, you know, the shots. It seemed like I fully believe that LeBron and AD carried this team more than Shaq and Kobe carried their previous teams.
oh yes.
I just think that, you know, you had a little bit more a different group there. Now, I will say this. They did have Phil Jackson. So, you know, his background is, you know, with the Bulls having a lot of people get involved, which made a huge impact even with the Bulls. So maybe you're not seeing too much with Frank Vogel. They're similar, but I just think that, you know, LeBron and AD played a huge part in getting these boys, you know, to the finals, you know, and playing a part because we know what they look like when one is off the court. But it is they did, like I said, they made shots when they needed to, for the most part. And let me double check, because the thing about it is, you know, Kuzma and them, they show up from time to time. So tonight, you know, you got KCP is 5 for 10, right? So he's showing up tonight. Rondo is 6 for 6. So they're showing up when they need to, right? So this happens from time to time, and I think it's earned and it's well deserved. It's just that, you know, comparing it to the old Lakers with the Derek Fisher, the Robert Horry, you know, Rick Fox, I think they played a bigger role in the team than these guys on the offensive side anyway.
Hell, you can even throw in names like Brian Shaw.
Brian Shaw, yep.
You know, who, I mean, was a solid veteran, but, you know, when time came to step up, you know, he made very good key shots, you know, during this time, especially in the playoffs. You know, I always dislike by Phil Jackson. He didn't play his rookies. You know, or didn't kind of infuse them in the rotations. But, you know, one of those rookies that kind of benefited during that run, Devin George.
Yeah.
Devin
George, yep.
A guy, you know, 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", a very big dude. And he became a valuable contributor, you know, down the line, especially after Glenn Rice left. And, you know, Rick Fox was kind of get up there in years. That's a dude that
somebody to take their place. Yeah.
That's the dude that benefited. And he stepped up when time needed to show up. And then Stephen A's boy, Slaven Medvedenko.
Mm-hmm.
He's all right. You know.
They came in and played a big role. And I think it also goes with not necessarily just the players, but more so the coaching as well. So, you know, Phil Jackson was a hell of a coach. I don't think that we can, no disrespect to Frank Vogel, but I don't think he's a Phil Jackson.
Oh, no. No, and, you know, all the coaches that, you know, I don't know if we talked about this or not, but, you know, all the coaches that were offered a job, you know, this offered 3 years. And Vogel is the only one that really took the job. Now, since he took this job, he's on the way. He's on his way to his first championship. Monty Williams didn't take the job. He wanted a little more security. He wanted to go to Phoenix. Ty Lue was kind of shooting, but he backed off last minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if they reached out to Mark Jackson or whatnot. But, you know, they offered Vogel the job. He accepted. You know, they brought in Jason Kidd also with them, which, you know, at that time, you know, you like if things go wrong, you know, would it give Vogel the slip and put Jason Kidd in that position? But luckily for Vogel, and he kept the strip ahead and kind of weathered the storm different points of time. And he got this team on track, you know, at least for one more half to get in that 17 championship.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I think that, you know, the leading charge in all this is LeBron. There's no question. You know, but these other roles are huge. So it's exciting to see. As I've said a while, I said 2 days ago, we are watching greatness. I think LeBron is very unappreciated. Like, I don't think people understand really how good he really is, and how big of an impact that he makes. I mean, any other person that there don't even compare him to Michael Jordan. They compare him to the size and height and weight of everything to Magic Johnson. And if you ask a lot of people that are Laker fans, actually heard Snoop even say that his favorite Laker of all time is Magic. And one of the best players ever to him. So I think watching him play LeBron is amazing, man. I mean, I think Jordan did so much that people kind of overlooked Magic and believe the fact that Magic was kind of before Jordan. So now we're kind of getting somebody very similar player, and it's just like being kind of glossed over.
Terry, I want to ask a question. Who will win between these Lakers here or the 2009-2010 championship Lakers? So that's like Kobe, Powell. If for those that are listening, that's Kobe, Powell, Andrew Bottom, Lamar Odom, Derek Fisher,
Shannon Brown.
Yes, Shannon Brown.
Meta War Peace.
Trevor Ariza and Meta World Peace.
Yeah.
And I to my grave, I just gonna say it to my grave, they should have did a better job keeping Trevor Ariza there in that Laker uniform.
Yeah, that was I don't even know how they let him walk and get away. I remember that team because that's the team that beat my Orlando Magic after Kobe missed the free throw in Orlando. We stole the victory, and they basically gentlemen swept us. That's a tough one right there. They had Vujicic as well, Sasha Vujicic.
Yeah, Sasha Vujicic, Jordan Farmar.
Yep. That is and Al Morrison. That's a tough one. The problem with the Lakers now is just that the inconsistency from the other players.
Mm-hmm.
I like Rondo, but he's only playoff Rondo, right? Danny Green is not the Danny Green that was with the Toronto Raptors last year, which he's about to get another ring. So he's going to be like the Robert Horry up to nowadays. AD is going to be AD, LeBron is going to be LeBron, but I don't know what Dwight Howard does against Andrew Bynum. I think Derek Fisher plays a huge role. Kobe's going to be Kobe. Paul Gasol is very, very, very impactful. Then don't forget you still had Lamar Odom. I probably would take those Lakers. And the reason why is because you mentioned them earlier. It's Trevor Ariza. He's a defensive player. I think that he doesn't necessarily slow down LeBron or stop him, but kind of contain him a little bit. We're not talking about the Trevor Ariza that's with the Trailblazers. We're talking about a different Trevor Ariza. So for me, right now, AD would be hard to stop, yes. But the size that these Lakers had, I think is unmatched. It's unmatched compared to the Lakers of now. They were big everywhere. You know, Lamar Odom definitely can pull Dwight Howard out to the three-point land if he needed to. Remember now, Lamar Odom played like point guard in high school or something like that.
Yep.
So, you know, we're not talking about just any old big man. You know, we're talking about somebody that could dribble as well and not necessarily a high three-point percentage, but could jack a three up if he needed to. So, not to spoil the new Lakers, right? The 2020 Lakers party, but yeah, I'm taking those 09 Lakers. It'll be tough though in the series.
I think the group with Trevor Ariza, I mean, you talking about a young Trevor Ariza that, you know, was kind of like, I don't know, was kind of bouncing around until that point he got to the Lakers. And, you know, I always kind of said this on every show, the Chris process. You know, Kobe get up there in years, you got this young dude in that can be your poor man's Scottie Pippen to your Michael Jordan, in a sense. Because Trevor Ariza is still like his early 20s at that point. And if you kept him on the fold during that time period, he can guard the best offensive player opposite who you're playing. So you can conserve Kobe there, you know, at times on defense and stuff like that. On the other side, with the next year's team, we're on our test. My thing with that move is like, with it, yeah, he helped brought a championship, but you know, he was up in he's sound in his 30s as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
that's another piece too, is, you know, knowing that Ron Artest is a physical guy, as we know, very physical.
And Artest, you know, he'll punk Kuzma. He'll probably punk.
Oh, yeah.
he'll punk Danny Green. The slump Danny Green in, Artest will take advantage of that. The shit talking, the crap talking that he would do to him in that slump that he's having. Oh Lord!
And he'll drain threes too. That's the thing. Ron Artest go back there and drain a couple threes in your face.
Oh yes. But my X factor, my X factor, Lamar Odom. A guy, like you mentioned, can handle the rock, who's a point forward, can play inside and out. Let me ask you this, D-Lock, kind of go off subject. If Ben Simmons, if he had like a jump shot like Lamar Odom, because Lamar didn't shoot a lot of jumpers, but, you know, he shot them just adequate enough. If he, like, you know, kind of mirror that type of game, he'd be deadly. Or damn near. It's like kind of
Lamar Odom, right?
Yeah, compare Ben Simmons to Lamar Odom. It's like
very similar. Very similar.
It's like you know, we expect Lamar to be a superstar, you know, with his size and all that stuff, you know, which didn't materialize, but he had a very solid career. Ben Simmons, we see the superstar in him, but it's like he don't want to take advantage of it.
Talking about Ben Simmons, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, that's what we talked about when we talked about Doc Rivers getting a job, is the fact that you got to get to the point to where you can literally say, hey, you know what? Need somebody to get in his ear and say, man, you can be one of the better players, and he has to take it serious. Lamar Odom, I think it was so much more that could have happened in his career to me. He did a hell of a job in his career. I just think it was just so much more that he could have done. Now, to be honest, I think he fits more in this era than he did. He would fit more in this era than he did then in that era.
Oh yeah.
For him to be so long, and it's kind of like it would be a better matchup for him in this era. Like, not to say he's a LeBron, but he could definitely. You could see him being a walking double-double in this kind of era. Being the fact that there's not as many big-time centers like it was when he was playing. You know, the centers are kind of smaller. You know, AD is basically a center in the NBA right now. I think he would fit better. But, again, like we said with Ben Simmons, the thing is you got to get his head on straight, man, for him to do it, for him to, like, want to be great.
Yeah, that's true. And that's one of my X factors. If comparing this Lakers to the AD, LeBron, and those past Lakers in the 2009, 2010, Lamar Odom's a big factor. Okay. Even you go small.
He's long, too, man.
Yeah, and that team is long, too. I mean, AD's long, but, you know, if you got AD at center, God, I mean, he can hold his own to a degree, but, you know, if he's guarding Gasol, who's going to guard Andrew Bynum? Who's going to guard Lamar Odom? Who can take off the dribble and whatnot? And then also we ain't talking about Kobe that much. You got Kobe as well.
Yeah. But they're going to get their points. That's one thing they're going to get. I don't know if you put LeBron on Kobe, and even if he did, it's not going to make a difference. I don't think. I think he still scores. Now, what happens is I believe that maybe LeBron gets in a little foul trouble. But the fact that you have Ron Artest, I probably would maybe put Ron Artest on Bron just because of different body frame. But they just were so. This team had bodies. Ron Artest and Trevor. You got bodies that you can throw. That's the thing about playing them is the bodies that you can throw at Bron and AD.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, even you go deeper in that bench, just kind of looking at it, guys like, God, what's that one dude's name? Oh, God, what's that dude's name? DJ Benga.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about.
I'm looking at it right now. Then, like, I forgot about Luke Walton.
Yep, got him too.
He was pretty solid role player for them. Josh Powell. Ooh, boy, some of these names. And you mentioned Adam Morrison, but he didn't get no run with them at all.
He just collected the ring.
Yeah, he collected 2 rings.
Mm-hmm. Put that on his resume.
They can't take that away from that man. But yeah, I mean, same rosters that you just swapping out. The Ariza and Artest, and then Terry brought up Ronnie Turioff. I forgot about him. Yeah, I forgot about him. He had a hell of a career.
Oh yeah.
he had a hell of a career in Gonzaga, and then he had that open heart surgery, and then that kind of, I won't say slowed his career, but
Stop everything. Done.
it kind of slowed it down, and he didn't kind of reach his potential. Like I think I kind of envisioned him.
Envision, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say it'd be tough to make the comparisons. And this team, obviously, we're talking about an older LeBron, right? We're not talking about LeBron in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you give me a LeBron when he was with the Miami Heat and you put him on this Lakers team, we might have a different conversation. If you give me a Rondo when he was with the Celtics on this Lakers team, okay, we might have a different conversation. But I wouldn't be able to just, like I said, they're up right now 71-44. So LeBron does have a double-double. So I would expect him to win. But I don't know if they win. I don't know if they beat, those Lakers just yet. We have the same conversation in like 3 years and they won 3 titles. Okay, then we might have something to talk about.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And, the Lakers, 5:50 left in the third. They have 73-44 at barring some crazy fourth quarter by the Miami Heat. I think we could assume the Lakers have, well, I'll say that's sealed the game to a point. LeBron has 15 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Anthony Davis has 15 points, 7 rebounds with 4 personal fouls. Rondo, like you mentioned, well, he's 6 for 7 now, but he has 13 points, 3 assists. Let me ask you this. Going back to game 5, you kind of have to close this out, and you want to kind of seal the deal. Would you let Bron play the whole game? Because Jimmy Butler played that whole game. Would you kind of match that with LeBron keeping him in?
In a scenario where it is 5, you're already at game 5 and you're trying to seal the deal. I probably would, knowing what kind of team that you're facing, and once they get the rolling as far as momentum, what can happen. So me, I honestly would. I mean, just too much is at stake. You mess around and let them win a game or 2. Now it's 3-1 where we thought that it was guaranteed, or we thought it was damn near in the bag, is then disappeared. So for me, knowing that how tired it is, you only want one away, and your best player is not only one of the better players on the court, but he's one of the better. He's like the best player, one of the best players ever. So, use that combination between him and Anthony Davis to seal the deal. So I wouldn't have thought about it any other way. I mean, because what happens is the Heat were getting on the run. I believe they were about 10 or 11 at one point. And with him being on the court, that minimized. But if he was off that court, maybe that 10-point lead turns it to 15, turns to 17, and now the game is out. Not only is the game out, but that team has a little bit of momentum going into the next game. So for me, I would have played him, to be honest.
I think, kind of looking back at that game 5, I think, and plus we talked about this before the air. The way LeBron was shooting that game, it's kind of hard to it'd be hard to take him out. You knew your other guys weren't contributing like that. Kuzma, he was off. Dan Green, he was off. Rondo, he was kind of messing up. But you still had that one constant in LeBron, and I'm thinking maybe he could have, maybe left him out there a couple more minutes. Maybe a couple other things would have changed. Now, it also didn't help that he missed some free throws in that game as well. That didn't help the final score. So that's that. You got to put that into a factor as well. But if I was Frank Vogel, I would let the dude out there. I mean, you can rest when you get back home. That's just my mentality in that.
That's what I mean. I mean, at this point, you're trying to be, you're trying to remember now, they've been in this bubble for a while. So now it's not necessarily going back to LA, back to Miami, back to LA. They've been in Orlando this whole time. So now you're in a scenario where not only you're trying to win the NBA Finals, but you're trying to take your ass home. You love being in the sport, but now you're trying to be in your own comfort bed. You're tired of probably being in the same hotel. You're probably tired of going back to the same basketball court. You want to go back to your house. So that also plays a part in having, okay, listen, it's game 5. We're already up 3-1. Let's go ahead and close this out. Not only just to get the title, but so we can go ahead and have our bags packed up and get on about our business. And also get ready for the next season, which is supposed to start sometime in January.
I definitely agree there. And, let's see. He take a timeout. Look, they're up by 33 points. If you're Miami D-Lock, I mean, what can you do to least amount of comeback?
At this point, you're on a run. You're probably playing half-court press. You're trying to get the ball out of their hands quickly because if you don't, what they're going to do is they're going to get down there, probably run. They're going to create plays, but run the clock all the way down as much as they can and take their shots. AD and LeBron got to get to the line at some point. You're not going to go, possessions without them actually getting to the free throw line and get, free points. So your best bet is to have court press, get the ball in, not necessarily depend on the 3-point line, the 3-point shooter, but you do have your 3-point shooters in, and just got to create turnovers, man. I mean, you're trying to create turnovers right now in the third quarter, and then possibly later on in that quarter or early in the fourth quarter, you're trying to get in the bonus early. So now you're trying to get fouled. So anytime that they are doing these ticky-tack fouls, you're going to the free throw line, getting as many free points as you can possibly get. That's the game plan I probably would go with, because the Lakers defense is entirely too strong for them to just be coming back, from a 20, 25, 26 deficit and not scoring offense. So your best bet is to create a few turnovers, try to get in the bonus as quick as you can to get free points, and hopefully expect and try to force them to fall out of rhythm.
Yeah, that's a big wish. And then Rondo just make a 3-pointer, come back for the timeout. So if he hitting like that, then you can kiss this game goodbye. Terry want to ask, when do you think we see the Lakers empty the bench?
Or that's not going to happen until probably maybe 2 minutes left, and they're up by like 40. They're on their way there, but I don't think LeBron and them are going to take a chance, because, like I said, this team get a little bit of rhythm. Then, you could be looking at something else. Be different. We talk about a regular season game, but we're talking about not only the NBA Finals, but the closing game of the NBA Finals. So that doesn't mean empty the bench. Doesn't mean to not have to keep LeBron on the court, but to more so have some key players like the Kuzma, like the Rondo, Danny Green out there playing, as much as they can to keep that lead at a distance. And then I say probably maybe 2.5 minutes. If the Lakers are up by maybe 35 plus, I think that's when we see, you know, the bench come in and the celebration starts.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Guys like, JaVale McGee, J.R. Smith, whoever else the guy active, they'll get that shine on here in a little bit. Dwight Howard, if the Lakers close out in this game, since he got this ring, is he a for sure fire Hall of Famer? Even though in my book he already is. When the smoke clears, I think he's a Hall of Famer without a ring. But with the ring in tow, he's guaranteed in the Hall of Fame, right?
I think so. He's been playing for a while. I just hate the fact that he's been bouncing from team to team at the end. But the fact of how he, the points that he averaged, what he averaged about 16 to 17 points a game, looking at almost 10 plus rebounds a game in his career. There's no reason why he isn't. But I don't think he's done right now. So I think he is a Hall of Fame. I think this is going to put him in that Hall of Fame category. Also, a slam dunk contest winner. So you have to see the accolades and what he's done. For a while, he's a very good defensive player, but I don't think he's done yet. I think he goes back to the Lakers next year. I think what the Lakers do also, this may go off topic a little bit, but I think the Lakers try to bring a lot of the band back next year. The reason why is to run it back and see what they can do with LeBron having one more year left in that contract, possibly resign maybe for another 2 years, but we'll get there, in a couple of years. I think that with him having another year, they want to make another run. They have room for another max player, right?
That's in case if people, and this is how I kind of hate how the contract was structured with some of these guys. Like Danny Green got a $30 million deal with a player option for next year for $15 million. And, given his production, would you bring him back at $15 million?
Nope.
I think Caldwell Pope, he has a player option as well. Why?
I think they renegotiate some of those things, though. I don't think that I think they bring them back, but I think they restructure. Well, I'm saying restructure like it happens. Like this is the NFL. Like, I think that it can possibly happen. I just don't know how much of a big difference is it. Now, the restructuring thing happens when you're creating space for another player. That's what I was saying. Like if they're another max player that they can fit up, in there, then maybe they grab another max player knowing what's going to happen in the West. Because to be honest, the Warriors are going to be back in the West next year. I believe the Clippers are going to be better next year in the West. The Nuggets are going to be back. The Trailblazers are going to be pretty solid. So I think there could be another valuable piece that they could possibly bring back to push for to contend for another title. Now, like you said, Danny Green with $15 million is, eye-opening. I don't know if they, like I said, the restructuring, you let him go if you can find pieces to replace him in KCP, it is the Los Angeles Lakers, so you're going to find pieces. But would you rather let them go and try to find somebody else and find chemistry, or keep them and keep the band together and add one more piece instead of saying, okay, well, hell, let's let go of Danny Green and Rondo, or not Rondo, but let Danny Green and KCP and let's go get 2 or 3 other pieces. Let's find a way to get Oladipo or whatever. Where now they have to mesh with LeBron and AD.
It's tough. It's like, it kind of depends what Danny Green does with his option. Does he get to see the writing on the wall and say, hey, they might not want me back, and decline his option? Or does he accept his option and is like, okay, I accept my option. Y'all trying to add another player or so. So, and a lot of teams ain't going to try and help the Lakers like that.
So
So you're stuck in a rock and a hard place. You gonna keep me.
Yeah, especially the impact that they made, even though it may seem like it wasn't very huge. You're still talking about. I mean, we know that LeBron and AD basically willed this team to the NBA Finals, but the other players had a huge part as well. Like I said earlier, KCP was hitting on all cylinders. I'm pretty sure even though the numbers for Danny Green wasn't looking all that, I'm pretty sure he was playing hell of a defense, having a defensive game. So, do you let these guys go to find another piece? At least right now, because again, we're talking about LeBron in one more year. We're not talking about him being a free agent right now. Obviously, I feel like I said this before, and I think I said this off record when I was talking to you before. And I think he was looking at me googly eyed when I said it, or kind of weird as if it may not happen. I said Trae Young might be in LA in like a couple years. I mean, that sounds like outlandish. It sounds kind of crazy, but the fact that he did sign with Clutch, you don't know what they're putting together, and LeBron is going to be gone. He's not going to win anything in Atlanta, man. Katie and Kyrie are going to run the East for a while. Then, depending on what Giannis do, he's not going to win too much in Atlanta. So I think at some point he's going to leave, and you know what the Clutch is going to do with that. So again, even though that's like a couple of years down the road, why even try to change a few things right now for next year, knowing that you have LeBron one more year? He's not there just to be building for the next year. He's trying to win another title.
I mean, I look at some of the free agents now, and this year's free agent class ain't really that good. When that free agencies will start. Besides Anthony Davis, who I think we both expect probably sign back with the Lakers. You got Carmelo, but he's north for 35. Mike Conley, he has a player option, and we kind of talked about him. He kind of has fallen off a little bit. DeMarcus Cousins, we don't know where his health is at. Andre Drummond, we talked about him before. I don't know if he's going to get that big money again. I mean, he will, but I mean, I don't know, with the COVID situation and the money and stuff like that, will teams be willing to offer him a big contract if he opts out? Evan Fournier, has a player option. Marc Gasol, he's went over to Spain. I kind of find surprising. Joe Harris, he's unrestricted. Serge Ibaka, unrestricted. Paul Millsap, I think he's about done. Unrestricted. Marcus Morris is.
Kyle Lowry's a free agent too, right?
I think I looked. He got one more year on his deal.
I'm mistaking him for Van Fleet. Then I think.
Yeah, Van Vliet, he's an unrestricted free agent. DeMar DeRozan, he has a player option, so he's gonna be a real interesting name to keep an eye on, see what he does. Gordon Hayward has a player option. Montrezl Harrell, he's unrestricted. Goran Dragic, he's unrestricted. Danilo Gallinari, he's unrestricted. So that max contract player ain't there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I look and it's like, I mean, Brandon Ingram, he's a restricted free agent if you want to go back after him, but, well, I think New Orleans will match that, but
I don't think they go after him, though. I don't know if he fits in that, in what they are trying to do. He said DeRozan, right?
Well, he has a player option.
Okay.
He's gonna be real interesting to watch in the off season. Does he come back, with that young squad for the rebuild, or is he like, I cut bait and go elsewhere?
I would think that. I mean, it's a possibility, and then also we talk about the Spurs, but I'm thinking that they add another piece. The reason why is because also we got to see what happens with this whole Paul George thing, and if the Clippers bring him back, or what does Billy Donovan do in Chicago? So it's like they're gonna go for another title. Just know that. And I think that it's gonna take maybe another big move. That's what I was expecting them to try to make another big move anyway.
So you thinking they may go more the trade circuit route, like a Bradley Beal or Victor Oladipo?
Yeah. But see, if you do that, I don't know if Bradley Beal gets to LA and the Lakers don't give up a valuable piece. Like I don't know if they have to give up somebody who would they consider trading for him. But also that's Bradley Beal. I think Oladipo is not. I don't think Oladipo and Bradley Beal are on the same level. But knowing, because to be honest, I think the best talented team on the East coming back will be, or another full roster on the East will be the Brooklyn Nets. So I do see the Brooklyn Nets being in Eastern Conference Finals, possibly making an NBA Finals. So that's a team that the Lakers could possibly see if they make it back to the NBA Finals. So you're trying to have pieces, everywhere. At least another option. So having Bradley Beal would be a bad idea.
Or, okay, you mentioned the Lakers running it back. How about this scenario? You bring back Anthony Davis this next offseason, sign him for like 1 year player option, whatever, for the max. Just follow me here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, guys that we have mentioned, like Victor Oladipo, Gordon Hayward, Paul George, and others are free agents in 2021. Another name on that 2021 list is Giannis.
True.
If you're the Lakers, would you kind of wait? Okay, don't make no moves. Don't give away no assets unless you really have to. Run it back. Now you got the salaries of Green, Caldwell Pope, McGee, and others out the way. LeBron, depending on what he does, his option, you got full cap of space. If AD sounds like, in my scenario, the 1 year play option and declines it, can you form a super team if Pelinka can sell it? That's one of the things I'm weary of him. If he can sell things, because he can be a spade. He can be. I don't know if you see him in interviews and stuff like that, but he just be saying some wild stuff. But anyways, if he can sell it, you think they can get Giannis in there in 2021? Along with AD. Along with LeBron.
Yeah. Those are things that people don't. That's one of the things when you hear D Wade and Chris Bosh and LeBron's getting together, everybody's like, wow, like what is going on? Like that can possibly happen. Giannis, it's to the point now in the NBA where, dude, like you could be at your team for like 6-7 years and you can be like one of the greatest players ever. But if you don't win anything, they're expecting you to win a title at some point. So we hate to say the fact that, hey, you know what? There's a chance that Giannis is going to leave Milwaukee. Dude, how many times have we seen a great player do a lot for his team and leave and go somewhere else and try to win a title in the NBA? That has happened numerous times. So this notion of, okay, well, this shouldn't happen is going to continuously happen. We've seen KD do it. We've seen LeBron do it. The only person we technically didn't see do it was Michael Jordan, but they brought hella pieces over there for him. So Giannis out the door, I think is going to happen, especially when I seen the interview that he had after he heard that he won the MVP. I think he's going to leave. The only team that I think that could lure him away from the Lakers is Milwaukee. I'm sorry, not Milwaukee, Dallas, because of what they have. But if the Lakers do it correctly, they definitely can get him. I see the Lakers in the same category as the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Yankees. I feel like these franchises are huge franchises that a lot of athletes that went professional in those sports would just at least try to just play for that franchise, at least a year. They follow the sport. That's a franchise that they've seen win so many titles. They've seen do so many different things and so much history behind those franchises that they want to be part of their history. So that's a big sell that can happen to Giannis. And it'd be hard for him to turn that down. Also knowing that he would play with a player like LeBron and AD. Come on, man. You think about it. Think about what KD was thinking when Steph Curry and Klay Thompson was talking to him about coming to Golden State. Imagine what Giannis would think when he sees LeBron and AD come to him. And the Lakers uniform.
Yeah, and then I also in that scenario, I was trying to sell LeBron's like, hey man, I know you keep yourself in great physical condition. I know you do all that, but in this scenario, let us ride these two dudes right here. And I know back in his mind, I know he wants to eclipse Jordan. Let us get these guys in the saddle here. You coach be the number 3. We had number pieces throughout here. And we can, depend some, something crazy happening. Because the reason why I'm we talk about adding a third superstar, ladies and gentlemen. LeBron's up there in years. 80, good as he is a bit injury prone. Let's be real. So you need that third person there. This case, if Mr. Davis go down, you got this other person here to go along with LeBron. You got to cover your bases.
Yeah, and you're the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? You're not the Brooklyn Nets or the Utah Jazz. You're the Lakers, and that's what the Lakers do. They find pieces to replace. They go through a stretch where they're decent, but they are the Lakers. They will find a way to get back to title chasing or be in that realm. So I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they did make that move to try to go get him. And the fact that you have LeBron and AD walking in your office or walking in your living room trying to get you to come to, try to get them to come to, or try to get Giannis to come to LA would just be, pretty much amazing for him. And on top of that, don't forget now the Clippers will try to make a move as well. Because they're looking for that turn in their franchise that could, possibly get them over the hump. Even though their season was pretty rough, who's to say in a couple of years, even when they have Kawhi, they're not trying to grab another MVP caliber player.
Well, that's even if the Clippers stay together after next season. Or like you mentioned, what's going to happen with them in this offseason? Paul George and etc. And then, like I said, the wealth of draft picks that they lost or they gave up in that trade, to get Paul George. I know both teams gave up a lot of picks for the superstar they acquired, but if you look on the other, across the hall in Staples Center, you got one team that could re-up their superstar for a long time, while here on the other side, Steve Ballmer and crew, my two guys might be bouncing after this season. And I got my superstar I traded for. He's trying to go to Brooklyn. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be real interesting. The Lakers, they're up by 20 plus right now.
Closing it out.
Miami kind of out of some comeback. They kind of chipped in. They were losing by 30 plus, but they kind of chipped into that. So, but with 6 minutes left, I don't think the Heat are coming back. Dragic, it's great seeing him back on the court tonight. With this injury, which I kind of think, at his age with that injury, I kind of wish he didn't kind of push it.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. And he might not get his opportunity to play in the finals again.
Yeah, you're at the point now where you don't know, when you're going to go back. Was he 34? Like, you fit in a good rim, even though you're not 100%. It'd be worth it if you found a way to win. Even though that may not be the case now, but that's what you're thinking when you do get hurt is, we don't know if we're going to be back here. I don't know if I'm going to be back here, so why not take the chance now, which is understandable. But you have to try. Especially this is the top of the top right now. This is what they play usually all 82 games for, is for this chance. So, being battered and beat up, I'm not going to let you stop you at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that. As we wrap this up, who gets the finals MVP?
Well, I'll probably go on a limb and say LeBron. The story has already been written. Come on, dude. 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 19 points. Tonight. There it is. So he will be the first player to have 3 MVPs, 3 NBA Finals MVPs with 3 different organizations or franchises. Dude, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of, even though I still have that thought that Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, my boy LeBron is making it very tough for me to keep saying that. It's making it very tough. Now, I ain't gonna lie. If I was building a team now, I'm taking LeBron. That's just me. But he's making it very, very tough, man. What he's doing is crazy. 10 NBA Finals, man.
That it is
10. So remember, for a while, everybody was saying that he was on the East, so he went through the least, the least in conference. But now he go to the West and do the same thing. It's, the West had this and the West had that. Like, that's what I mean by being unappreciated, being unappreciative of him. Definitely MVP, man. Go ahead and give him that trophy, man.
Yeah, I think LeBron, the game he had, game 5, then the game he's having tonight, I think he sealed the deal for himself. And that's another thing about those, and kind of talking about those Laker teams in the past. You can make arguments that those other role players could have won Finals MVP at certain points. Like Pau Gasol, you can make a point in that 2010 season, playoff run that he could have won the Finals MVP. My dad fought this years ago when Derek Fisher came back with his injury when they won back in 2001. That Fisher should have been considered for Finals MVP. So that's another thing, when you mention like, those role players for the Lakers, when they step up, they step up. And, we just threw out two names right there that we consider finals MVP compared to these other, jokers. And also, LeBron has no turnovers in this game either, D-Lock.
Yep. So now he's not only scoring at will, but he's not turning the ball over as well. So now he's not giving up any points too, which is what this Heat team thrives off of, is turnovers from other players or from the opposing team, and they're not getting them from a key player on that team.
Nope. And, when LeBron got to the Lakers a season ago or so, he falls in the line of the other Hall of Famers that went to LA in the prime of their careers, like a Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem, Shaq, Pau Gasol. He had to fall along those guys to deliver a chip. All those guys I just named brought at least a championship into the fold for the Lakers. Mm-hmm. And he came in, future Hall of Famer, not in his prime of his career, but still considered like a top 5 player in the world. And he's brought a championship to the Lakers.
Yep. That's what they say it belongs, man. This is one reason why the Clippers just fall back another year.
Yep.
Like, they fall back another year. So, hey, as the quote says, it is what it is.
So, I think it's like about 4 minutes left or 3 minutes left. Any final thoughts about this series, D-Lock?
I think that if it was any other East team against the Lakers, I think that this series doesn't go this far. I think that the right East team made the finals. A lot of people would say that, well, what if it was Milwaukee Bucks? The Milwaukee Bucks would not be able to hold anything against the Lakers. The reason why I say that is because nobody was going to stop AD. Lopez stand at the free throw line, which means AD would have got any board he wanted. So I think this was the right team to play against the Lakers. And they fought hard in the series. They brought out the black Mamba jerseys, which is known for not losing in those jerseys, the Lakers, and they handed them their first loss 2 days ago. So they played very well. I mean, Jimmy Butler, as we can see, played 47 out of 48 minutes. Seen him at the press conference limping, going to the back. Probably can't wait to get in the ice tub to get help his muscles kind of rejuvenate. And that's probably another thing that this team is dealing with, is the fact that they're tired from the game 2 days ago. So they fought hard. They fought very well. Look forward to them being a big force next year as well, to come back. So they had a great ride. I mean, we seen Tyler Hero come up and show his face. I think he's going to be a player to watch out for years to come. The Lakers, hey, when you sign a player like a LeBron, this is expected. It just now is coming into, it's actually true, and it's going to be official within under 4 minutes. And AD is going to love this feeling. This is the reason why he wanted to go to LA. Even for months and months, we were hearing that, he wants to be traded, and the whole scenario of getting him to LA was just a hassle, and people lost their jobs over that. And at the end of the day, it was worth it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's just like, you look to the Miami side, and Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero are not playing their best game. Jay Crowder, who shot very surprisingly well in his bubble, hasn't had his best shooting day. I know he has 12 points. Bam Adebayo has 25 to 10, but it's not like it made a dent tonight against this Laker team. And him and Jimmy Butler have played 40 minutes plus tonight.
Yeah, giving their all.
Iguodala really hadn't contributed much. So it's just like, this team fought hard. And, this Heat team fought hard. They surprised the hell out of us, ladies and gentlemen, throughout this playoffs. Like, the Indiana matchup, that could have went either way. But then, they smacked around Indiana. And then we're both surprised how they just beat up on the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
Even with Giannis going down, and even with Giannis in the fold, the way they just beat them down, and took that miracle game 4, performance from Middleton to kind of say that, to save them from getting swept. But then Miami came back the next game and beat them. And then they handled the Celtics. I was like, damn. Every team like Jimmy Butler, since he has matured into like a all-star player, he has elevated each team he has been on. The Bulls, when he kind of matured there. The Timberwolves got them back to the playoffs after missing for so many years. And then the minute he's gone, they garbage again. Sixers elevated them. And we talked about this last week. Kawhi Leonard 3 bounce away, possibly going to the conference finals. Now you get to this Heat team, and you go into the finals. Mm-hmm. So, salute to them. I know Pat Riley. He's probably like, his skin is crawling right now. Mad that that they were this close, and that's another team that kind of watching off-season D-Lock. What does Pat Riley do in the off-season? Because he's one of the better minds in basketball in terms of making moves and stuff like that, along with the Jerry West and others. It'd be interesting to see what he does in the off-season as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's always known for making key picks. It seems like right now, Ken was asking when they gonna pull the dogs off, and they're doing it right now. About 90 seconds left.
Yeah.
So, like I said, he's gonna get them boys ready for next year. It's not over. They got a couple of pieces over there that they can build around. Tyler Hero's very young. Duncan Robinson's going to be there for a while. There's a couple key pieces. Don't be surprised if they try to get Giannis as well.
And that's an interesting name right there. But I think even if they don't get Giannis, I think the growth of Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and Kendrick Nunn, those 4 guys, along with Butler, they're going to be your core for a good while. So Bam and Tyler Hero kind of raise that game up more, I think they'd be solid again next year. In my humble eyes.
Yeah, they'll be like I said. They keep a piece, and I don't know if they do what they do with what they do with Iggy, but a couple of those pieces will go, but they'll replace a couple of those guys. But like I said, they will try to come back and make a run. We did see Brooklyn make that big move, grabbing a couple pieces, but other teams are looking at that as well.
So 20 seconds left in the game. It's all formality. The Lakers will win their 17th championship. So congrats to the Los Angeles Lakers. Laker fans, I hope you're happy now. The long drought is over. No more swinging and missing on free agents. And look it up in the start of the season. You got Jeremy Lin, a Alvis Prime Carlos Boozer, no Xavier Henry, no Ryan Kelly, no Jordan Clarkson, even though I love Jordan Clarkson. No, damn, who else I'm missing?
No Magic.
No Magic.
He ain't there.
No Michael Beasley.
Mm.
Who else I can think of? Oh, yes. Robert Sacre. No Robert Sacre.
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
Wayne Ellington, even though I like Wayne Ellington. Lonzo Ball, LeVar Ball.
Yep.
Nick Young.
All those pieces are gone. Nick Young.
Who else? Isaiah Thomas.
That man, yeah, Isaiah Thomas. That man, J.R. Smith got another ring.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. That's the stuff we got going on. So they just handing out rings.
Yep.
Y'all Waiters got a ring.
Oh, before we go, how pressed are some of these dudes when we about Alex Caruso getting a ring?
Oh my God. With the headband too.
Oh man.
Jared Dudley.
Oh, yeah. My dad don't like him at all. Like
JaVale McGee.
Yep, JaVale McGee, he'll have 3 rings. Who would thunk that?
Quinn Cook. How many he got?
He'd be about 2 or 3, right?
He should. He should have a couple of. Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd, he gets another ring.
Look at this man, J.R. Smith, with his shirt off already. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's just. Yeah. We knew it.
Yep.
They signed that man 2 years ago, man.
Hell, one of Morris twins got
a.
And one of Morris twins, he got a ring too. He and his brother beating them folks, and now they got a ring.
Yeah. Rondo
got, he got another one.
This man, J.R. Smith, gonna go to another championship celebration. That crazy.
Well, shit, I don't know how they're gonna do that since California's kind of like on lockdown.
Yeah, man, they just KCP, Horton Tucker got one.
Mm-hmm.
AD got his first one.
Dion Waiters.
They fought hard, man. Dion Waiters. Oh,
Dion Waiters got a ring, man.
Dion Waiters, man. After the long season that he done had.
Oh yeah. The gummies.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. Damn, I almost forgot about that.
Who am I missing in the front office?
Palinka. Watch.
Janet Buss.
Yeah. After she, ran her brother out of there. Her brother probably like a damn Hooters celebrating.
I know Magic feels some type of way.
Oh, he probably take credit too. Yeah, I got LeBron there.
Mm-hmm. He left too early, man. You can't blame him about that. Hey, that's on him. Hey, listen, you can't go get you a ring now. You try to leave her talking about you gonna tell them I ain't gonna be here next year.
Please. Oh, Jenny Buss would give that man a ring. I think she loved Magic that enough that she'll give Magic a ring.
Yeah, she probably would.
Like she loved that family loved Magic.
Lakers, man. Go over there. Hey. Follow LeBron, man.
And about Magic too. I thought about this in the Crooks process. Like, damn, dude, this dude never sticks to anything for a long term. Besides his playing career, and besides maybe his business ventures, everything is he really don't stick around for long. So, but he probably gets ring too.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Dodgers also, that's a little off topic, but I think the Dodgers are also contending for a title as well. But wow. They just sheesh. They LeBron and Rondo was going at it at one point.
Yeah.
Heat against the Celtics. Now they joined together and got a championship. So this is why you pay somebody so much money like that, man.
And
you do so much.
And you brought that up, like Rondo, those Celtics and Cavaliers, and even the Heat, the battles they had. Dwight Howard, being that foil that year. LeBron's, about LeBron's last ride. About a year to his last ride being in Cleveland. Him being that foil there. Those two joining the fold. Danny Green. He stopped. He's part of those Spurs that won the championship while LeBron's in Miami.
Yep. It's just some of these pieces is I forgot. Look at that. Danny Green the past couple of years has just been amazing, ain't
it? Yep.
This man have been to two championships. Got both of them with LeBron and Kawhi. The first thing people gonna ask him is, who's a better player to play with?
Oh, it's gotta be LeBron.
Which one had America? That's gonna be one of the bigger questions.
I do give Kawhi a lot of credit, but and he hobbled his way to that championship. But you gotta go to LeBron on that one.
Oh yeah. That's no question. But that's going to be something that he's going to be asked. What was the difference between the year before, the year with Kawhi, and the year after with LeBron?
KD wasn't playing. And then Klay Thompson got hurt.
Yep. First couple people to touch championship. Look at that. Deion Waiters. Deion Waiters. JR.
Hey, at least
knowing that half of them ain't gonna be back next year.
Hey, at least they ain't sick though.
Yeah. They all touching that championship now. Kissing the ball, kissing the trophy and everything. Dwight Howard done won a championship in Orlando.
I know that's like,
oh my God.
Oh, I'll be trying to swing. Oh, I know. I don't know. Orlando fans are sick.
Man, who you telling? I am one of the people that's sick. That's just Frank Vogel. And where Frank Vogel used to coach at, Orlando.
Yep.
Homecoming for them guys, man. Brian told that man, hey, look, Anthony Davis, you come over here. You know, we're going to get a championship. Got it done, man. They were a better team. I mean, they were ready for it. And they deserve it. All them championships in LA, man. Boris got him a championship.
Yep.
LeBron trying to go get him. That is 3. Yeah, he probably try to come back and get another.
So what's your final thoughts before we wrap up?
To be honest, I think this is the dynasty that started. I think this is the dynasty that it's going to be a dynasty, and the Lakers have things up under their sleeve getting ready for when LeBron leaves. They'll have somebody come up in the fold. This is expected. Like this is definitely expected. My real final thoughts is the fact that people need to see that we are watching greatness, man. He's that big of an impact on any team that he goes to.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up with this. You know, I think, they inch one more closer to the Boston Celtics. And that's another team we got to watch out for next year and see how they do. But they inch one more to Boston. Like I said before, LeBron AD, not that homegrown LA, talent, they got for the draft. But those outside guys that have been elsewhere that come to the Lakers and are expected, or at least deliver a title. And they came in and did that. Now, will it be a start of dynasty? Well, we'll see. I hope so. Well, LeBron got at least a couple years on his contract. We'll see how things play out. You mentioned Clutch Sports. The guys that have been signing here lately. I don't know if we ain't touched on this a lot. Lonzo Ball, he signed with Clutch. Yeah, I know we talk about the Lakers at times, but the point guard situation, maybe divine intervention brings Lonzo back to LA. Who knows? But like I said, congrats to the Lakers. In a neutral court, they won a championship against a very quality opponent. We salute the Miami Heat. And, congrats to the Lakers.
LeBron's got MVP, as we expected.
So, LeBron, with his finals MVP, I know he can hang his hat on that. And I know he's going to be hungry for more for next year. But, ladies and gentlemen, this has been our show tonight. Thank you for bearing with us tonight through our technical issues. And thank you for hanging in for this, post-game talk after the finals. We will be back here next Sunday, kind of, I guess, talking about the whole bubble experience and recapping, the finals once more next week. So we will discuss that. D-Lock, how can the people find you on social media?
You guys definitely can find me at Black-813. That is the Twitter. That is the Instagram handle. Black, the word dash, DASH, 813. You can find me there. We'll be talking about other sports as well, even though it's still football. Basketball, but still football. Also, like I said, go Bucks, even though we had a rough Thursday. Also, go Rays, baseball. We are playing the Astros right now to go to the World Series. So different things that we'll be talking about. Let them know they can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter at Spawn4288. That is Spawn4288. Also, do follow us on Twitter at FastBreakISR. That is FastBreakISR. And also, please do check out the website, IE Sports Radio. And not just our show, but do check out our other shows. Also, if you love IE Sports Radio, buy the merch. We would love your support. So go to iesportsradio.com, check out our show, other shows also in the circuit, and please check out the merchandise shop. Very cool stuff there. Also, you can follow me on the Crooks Process as well. Facebook, Instagram. Just follow me on there. But, D-Lock, one more thing. Since the Lakers won, you think Bronny gonna get a whooping? Or are you too old for that?
I think the whooping days are over. I do think he get a talk. I don't really see LeBron as a type that whoops his children discipline-wise. But I do there's going to be some kind of talk that does go on as far as, anything that he is doing. But bigger than that is social media. Exposing yourself on social media, because once it gets out there, it's not coming back. It'll be there forever. So I think that'll be something that he do talk to him about. But I don't think it'll be anytime soon. I think we're talking about maybe a month or two from now.
Yeah, we just got to throw that in, ladies and gentlemen. It's just jokes.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
I know, right?
But this has been our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, we'll be in next week. And this has been Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports. We'll check out next week. Peace out.
Out.